Hi, I'm Ernie Zore, and I'm here with my friend Larry Housel, and we're welcoming you to the 10th video in our ChatGPT series. Today we're going to review Ohio Adoption Forms, which is a form-filling application published by Puritas Springs Software, and in addition we'll be reviewing our new Adoption GPT. Now this is a technical video, so maybe we should do some mental calisthenics to limber up our minds and prepare us by discussing things that are technically true. What do you think, Larry?
I got something that's technically true for you.
What's that?
Well, if everybody in the world held hands around the equator, most of them would drown. Makes you think, doesn't it?
You know, I don't really think about that kind of stuff, Larry, but if I am thinking about oceans, it's usually about the swimming pool on the Titanic. Did you know that after all these years, it's still filled with water?
Well, that is technically true. Well, at any rate, I think we're sufficiently limbered up. Yeah?
Okay, yes, I'm feeling very limber, actually.
All right. Let's have a look at the adoption software.
It's up on the screen right now. What are we going to do with it now,
Well,
Larry?
I think let's just start with a general overview of how it works. We can talk about, I know, this is going to work for any standard adoption, stepchild, adult adoption, thing like that, right?
Right. Correct. Okay. Yeah. The way the adoption program is built to work is that the left side of the screen here gives you a kind of an outline of how you may want to proceed as you complete the adoption forms. The first thing is that what pops up right now and what you see there is the general information worksheet. And all it really is if you were to go and look at all the forms, all the ones in the 18 series and all the ones in the 19 series, and I think there's another one that there's more, but they have certain common fields. And by filling out the general information worksheet, which has an assemblage of all of those common fields, you're able to put the petitioner's name in one time, and it shows up everywhere it needs to show up. And same with the county name and the judge's name and the case number and all of the things that you see on the general information worksheet.
So this stuff is, most of the information on those forms is going to be made up of the stuff that you put in here under the general information worksheet.
Sometimes that's true, and you would look at some forms and find out that they're 95% complete. Whereas there's other forms where certain information that's unique to a particular case, it needs to be filled directly in on the form. So yeah, we may even take a look at a couple of those forms. So basically, the first step would be to fill out this general information worksheet.
All right.
And then the second thing is, this is kind of an old and sometimes unnecessary but often helpful reminder to name and save your file. In fact, I took a technical support call about 2 hours ago from a lady who was working for 3 hours and never saved anything, and I felt bad about that.
That's tough sledding.
All right, it is.
We've all been there.
So anyway, it's not a bad thing to have this step number 2 there to just as a good reminder.
So you got your main information in and you saved it and you named the file and you got a backup.
Third step would be going to the expense worksheet. And there you see what this is a common place to handle all of the financial transactions with respect to the adoption. Agency fees, agency costs, attorney fees, attorney costs, court costs.
Interesting. So does any of this information go into the forms?
Yes. Well, that's why there is a expense worksheet.
Okay.
And we're going to go over that too, because we'll take a look at it right now. The petition for adoption is a 3-page form, and you could see. This is a good example of answering your question about how much you need to fill out. The color coding on this form, and all the forms throughout the whole package, the amber or tan or yellow colored fields are all filled in automatically from the general information worksheet. So with respect to doing the petition, all you really need to do is complete these few white fields.
Okay.
And you're ready to go. And there's another example where it could be different. On this page, you have to do most of the thing. However, you don't really have to fill out each section because you're really only going to fill out the sections where you check the box, that apply to you. Judgment
There's some
entry.
more filled out. Okay.
Notice the hearing. Let's take a look at one. It's styled for a person, so that if you have more than one person or individual or institutions that need to be given notice, this new command brings up one. And like, let's say that we filled this out for, I don't know if I can, I'll see about this A in there. Now, I can go, if I have a second person, all right, I can go B.
Okay.
Like that. And fill that one out for another. And it'll keep on going. You could have 20 people, I imagine. And then if you need to go back, you can go to view, and it's probably going to ask me, do you want to see A or B? And I could say A, and we go back to A, and bang, there it is. All right. Consent. This is often the subject of some contention.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is, but the form itself is really nothing. I mean, it's all about getting the signature on the form that is the problem, I imagine. Okay, judgment entry, interlocutory order, not much. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. It would be the account, because you were asking, does the
worksheet.
Financial information on the worksheet, where is that ever used? And you know, I'll tell you, in many probate programs, it's used in a lot of different forms. It might be on the inventory and the final account and whatever. In the adoption, it only shows up on one form, and that's the 18.9 petitioner's account. The account is all yellow fields, like I mentioned before, meaning that the program's going to fill that all out on its own. All you have to do, if you complete the expense worksheet, the whole accounting is going to be done automatically. And that's it. Now, 19, these are another set of adoption forms, but these are for adult adoptions.
I gotcha.
And let's see what we have in miscellaneous: consent to change name, affidavit. These are just some common forms that are used probably in every jurisdiction, no matter what. The certificate of adoption. And that is it.
Well, let me ask you, Ernie, if you're working in a certain area, and some of this stuff, if it's always going to be your name under lawyer, can you have it automatically show up without having to fill that out?
Oh, Larry, that's a great question. And here's general information is where that takes place too. And I talk to people users that have used the program for maybe years, and never really discovered that there was that functionality here. If you go to, what is it? Here we go. I'm going to open.
Your A and B.
Oh yeah, that's what it was asking me about. You go and you find the default file.
Okay, and now it's open?
Yep, and you'd look at it and say, well, okay, what's so special about that? It's just it's an empty file like any other. Well, if I was in Putnam County, and all of my cases, or 90% of my cases were, or even more than 50% of my cases were in Putnam County, I might put Putnam in the county name, and then there's only two things. There's a lot of things. If I was the only attorney in the office, I'd fill out all this stuff here. Yeah. Of course, the person, these two people is going to change exactly from case to case, and so will these other things. But as far as as far as the judge's name and the caption, the county name, and the attorney information, all of that could be set in the default file. And then what you would do, I don't think I want to do that right now, but I'll give you an example. Well, no, I will. Let's just say that's what I wanted to do, and I'm going to save it. And now this is what I tell people. When you hit that save button, you get the heck out of this file as fast as you can, because otherwise,
still editing the default.
yeah, right. You're still editing the default, and that means that whatever you type in there is going to keep on showing up, and
Yeah,
so
right.
you wouldn't want to do anything that changes from one adoption to the next, like the petitioner's name, for example, or almost any of the other fields on this form. So that's good. And the way I like to make sure that I'm out of the file is by clicking on the New button, and it does two things. It clears the entire adoption that I have in there right now, which is the default file, and it seeds a new file from the default file and gives it the name Untitled.
Oh.
So if I want to seed, did I do everything right here? If I click on New, yep, there it is. Now Putnam is in every new adoption, and it has no name up here, so
Nice.
So we're out of the file. So that's pretty cool. And what's really neat about it too is that this technique works in the basic Ohio probate forms.
All of the forms.
Cuyahoga, yeah, right, all of them. Well,
Anything with a default.
You took the fun out of that, Larry,
Oh,
because I was
sorry.
going to.
You were gonna list them all.
Yeah, I was going to list them all. Wow, I was going to proudly list them all, but
Why
all
wouldn't
right.
you?
But yeah, they all are.
Especially how they work so well with the defaults.
They do. Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to.
So you got some defaults, and
You know
there's
what?
a
Hold-
sample file too.
You know, I don't mean to delay the
inevitable.
thing here, but let me go back to the default file and
yeah.
get that out of there, just in case
You're gonna be
that's used for some other reason, and it's supposed to be that way. Okay, good
So
enough.
now you've saved that.
I saved it, and I'm out of there.
Next time you open it up, it'll be clean.
Yes.
Well, you better open it back up. I was going to ask you,
okay,
there's like
Uh-oh.
a sample file, right?
Yes, there is. Wow, okay, I guess I shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have closed it. Let's see if I can get back. Oh, yeah, I left that window open. That's great. There we go. But I wanted to follow up. You were going to ask about the sample? You want me to open it up, or no?
Before we even talk about the sample, if we even need to, I wanted to ask you about the form itself. Can you edit? Can you make changes to the form itself?
Yes. And the reason I'm pausing on this is because I had a conversation with somebody about that this morning, and not in the context of this program, but you can change the forms, but you can't change the screens. So if page 1 of the petition, you can't change this. It's always going to have these defined fields.
Right.
However, and this is a kind of a funny thing when you tell someone, oh, the adoption program doesn't print adoption forms. And people go, well, what do you mean? That's why we're getting it, to print our adoption forms. Well, the answer is you just do that to upset them for the effect of it. But once they settle down, then you let them know that, watch, I'm going to print that form. Let's see, what's on the screen right now? I'm going to print, petition of adoption. And
There it is.
there it is. Let me get all the clutter out of there. There we go. And there's the form.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice, huh?
Yeah.
So there really isn't any printing. Oh, but answering, how about if I answer the question that you asked me?
Well, I was going to ask you again.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
I'd
can
already
you change
moved on.
anything here?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
What I was going to say is that this is just an ordinary word processing file made to be an exact duplicate of the form. So if I did want to change something, like, you know what? It never comes up, but let's say that in a particular county, they said, our county, they insist that we have a checkbox at the bottom. And I say, well, this is the way you can do it. I just amended the form. I just changed the form like you asked.
Gotcha.
And
So in a situation where you need to customize it even beyond the normal form, you just fill out the information like you normally do, print it, and when you get to this point, then you can add, something specific detail that you need for the specific case.
yes, that's true. And on the other
Or a
hand,
region.
I would say that it's something that you probably want to avoid. Generally, when I see someone making changes at this stage, it's because they forgot or didn't know how to do something actually in the program, and they were fixing it. The example that I gave about adding a checkbox for a particular county is a better one, but you'd have to do that for every adoption then, because the change that you're making to the file here is this specific word processing file for this particular client that you're working on. You won't be making a permanent record of the change. In fact, if you made a change, like let's say you corrected a phone number on this form and you saved it.
The next time you go into the software, the phone number is not going to be updated.
That's exactly right.
Whatever you're doing here is not affecting
right,
your
whatever,
file.
yeah. So if I go back in the file a week later, it's not going to have that correction. And that's why I said you really want to make it in here. You know, you want to make the changes in the program rather, not in the word processing file, although, as you saw, it can be done.
All right, well, I think that's pretty slick, to be honest. You got everything that you can fill out automatically gets filled out automatically, and anything else you fill in as required, and then you can even customize it right down to specific requirements for your jurisdiction.
Right.
Nice. All right, well.
Shall I get out of this, or do we need to...
Unless you want to talk some more about it, I figured we'd just tell everybody about our Adoption GPT.
Okay, yeah. Okay, well, don't save. Get rid of that.
Some of the stuff you brought up, like consents and these forms that are on the Supreme Court website, and some other information just about using this software that you've put together over the years, we thought it'd be a good idea to put it all together into a GPT so that it could kind of serve as an AI assistant to the adoption form software in case there's questions. Or so we did that, right? We're going to put it eventually as a link under the help menu.
Yes, right. There will be an adoption program at some undecided point in the future, and we will have some new adoption forms in there, and as well the link that you mentioned, the link into the AI,
right?
The adoption AI,
Puritas AI.
But we can still show the GPT, right? That's I put this up there because how would you?
Yeah,
do that?
so click over there because you can get to it right now.
Where do you want me to click?
Explore GPTs.
There we go.
And then up there where it says search public GPTs, just type Ohio adoption. And there it is.
Oh, wow.
So you click on that.
I'm impressed, Larry. You did that, huh?
Yeah, can you believe it? We got
Nice.
our own...
How cool is that?
And there it is. And it's got some questions you might ask. And you mentioned consent. And from what we found, that seemed to be one of the biggest areas that people have to muddle through sometimes. So,
Well, could we ask it a question right now?
yeah, that's what I was thinking we might be able to do. Why don't we say, do you need consent from an imprisoned parent?
That's a good one.
Boy, am I glad you're typing. All right, here we go. What happened?
Look at us go. There we go. All right.
Hey, this AI is really slow. They need to upgrade their...
And this will be right into our program. That'll be really neat.
Yeah, so people can just click right into this now.
You're completing the form. A question comes up. You just
Yeah, and
get the answer.
As we always do, Ernie, and you always bring up, it's important that we mention this is the paid version of ChatGPT.
Oh, right,
so
Larry.
So you do need an account right now, and hopefully that'll change in the future. But in case you're wondering, works out for us too, because if someone were to stumble upon this and use it, look, it tells them at the bottom here, oh, by the way, there's a real nice software company that makes forms for this if this is what you're trying to do.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, yeah, that's basically it. So people can use this GPT, and if they have experience with adoption, I hope that they will, and maybe give us some feedback on what they found. Well, Ernie, I think I'm hearing some music in the background, or at least I'm getting to the point that I start talking about hearing music.
I was going to have the production team put together a blooper reel.
Oh, that's right. A behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, yeah.
Okay.
Uncut.
That's right. You did mention
Uncut Larry and Ernie.
It's right. So what'll happen is it'll be like those podcasts where like, oh, subscribe and pay for the behind the scenes stuff, and people can subscribe to us, and we'll send them special videos of us just talking about lawbreakers.
They're gonna have to pay for it?
No, never.
Oh, okay,
Nobody
cool.
would pay for
Yeah,
that.
right. Who would do that, huh?
So
Our viewers are too smart to fall into that trap, Larry.
yeah, I know. We'll have
But if you aren't, you can wire that money to
Venmo.
yeah,
Puritas.
care of www.puritas.springcom. I didn't even say that right. Wow. Okay.
No, you probably
Anyway,
shouldn't.
so are we finished then?
Yeah, I think
you
we're
heard
good
the
to go.
music.
The
Well,
music's
Larry,
playing.
I'll tell you what. Let me add a plug for our. Before we go, I want to add the plug for our newly published book called ChatGPT and the Law. It's a comprehensive guide to AI in law offices. You can order it from our landing page. The link will be in the description. Anyway, it's also available in the Amazon bookstore for $12.95 in digital format and $15.99 as a paperback. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Puritas Springs Software channel for additional videos created especially for law offices. And you know, that may change as well because we want to broaden the scope. We want to stay applicable to law offices, but we want to open the door to other offices, business offices as well.
So take advantage of it.
Yeah, right. We'll have some awesome tricks, tips, and hints in the series. And like I say, I think you'll be able to use them in whatever kind of business you're in, even if you're not in business.
Absolutely. Good stuff. So stay tuned, everyone.
That's right. Until next time, stay healthy and happy
Goodbye.
and safe.
Yeah.